I started selling on Amazon 3 years ago, and since then it has only got more and more popular, which means more sellers have jumped on board, and that's brought up a question about, is Amazon FBA saturated? Has it become too competitive? And is it even worth selling on Amazon in 2024? Well, let's start off by diving in some of the stats to answer this. Last year in 2023, Amazon's revenue was a whopping $574 billion, which is up by $60 billion since 2022. Now, what's crazy is that nearly 1/4 of those sales has come from third-party sellers, meaning people like you and me who sell on Amazon. And as of 2024, Amazon has 9.7 million sellers globally, and most of them, around 95% of them, do Amazon FBA, which means only 6% do Amazon FBM. Now, my new Amazon sellers right here who have no idea what FBM and FBA is, let me quickly summarize. FBM is when you sell products on Amazon, and whenever a customer buys that product, you're the one who's going to fulfill the product, meaning you're the one who's going to pack it in a box and you're going to ship it to that customer. Now, the main advantage of Amazon FBM is that you don't have to pay the high FBA fees. However, FBM is a lot more manual and you have to constantly be prepping orders and sending it to your customers. Whereas in FBA, you're going to send off your stock to Amazon's warehouse, and every time you receive an order, Amazon's going to pick, pack, and ship that product to your customer. So you could be anywhere in the world, and as long as you have restocked your product at Amazon, you don't have to worry about fulfilling those orders. And as Amazon's doing everything for you, they do charge an FBA fee on that. But the main benefit is that it's semi-passive. Now, most of you might be thinking that 9.7 million sellers is quite a big number. But here's what's even crazier. Amazon has over 200 million Prime members, which is Amazon's subscription where you pay a monthly subscription and in return you get next day delivery and quite a few other things which Amazon provides. 200 million. And that 200 million is included in Amazon's active users, which is 310 million active users. So now if you compare the number of sellers to the number of customers who buy on Amazon, it's only 3% sellers that are fulfilling the needs of all the customers on Amazon. Now, considering these numbers, you can see selling on Amazon can be lucrative. As any experienced Amazon sellers would know, that high revenue would not always result in high profit, especially when you're losing time and money in dealing all these international payments that you have to make to your suppliers in China or in different countries. This is where our sponsor for today's video, WorldFirst, comes into play. As an Amazon seller, one of the biggest headaches I used to face was dealing with all the hassle of making international payments to my supplier. The complexity of using different platforms for collection, FX, and making payments meant a lot of double checking and manual work. Each transaction required navigating multiple systems, which not only consumed more time, but also increased the risk of errors. I would waste so much time tracking down the best rates, verifying the bank details, and hoping the transaction went through without any issues. This was a constant source of frustration, and it really cut into my bottom line. Every moment spent on dealing with these complexities was a moment not spent on growing my business, creating barrier to scaling up. But that's when I discovered WorldFirst, and it completely changed the game for my Amazon business. WorldFirst is a one-stop digital payment and financial service platform that streamlines all my cross-border transactions. With a single WorldFirst account, I can now easily collect payments from international customers and make seamless transfers to my suppliers around the world. It supports local collection accounts in 14 currencies, including the major ones like the US dollar, euro, pound, and it could pay out to 130 countries and regions. Yes, it's literally an all-in-one account for your global business. No more juggling around multiple providers or navigating complex banking. It's all handled through WorldFirst. And WorldFirst is the official payment partner of UFA Euro 2024. So they're hosting a lucky draw for new UK customers to win the UFA Euros 2024 tickets. So if you're an Amazon seller who's tired of the headaches of dealing with international payments and enter to win an amazing prize, then head to worldfirst.com/UK to get started. Or simply just click the link in the description. Now let's continue with the video. Now most of you at this point might be saying, okay Jatz, Amazon is growing year after year, but is it even profitable? Do these Amazon sellers even make any money? Now let's see some monthly revenue stats. So 40% of Amazon sellers sell anywhere from $1,000 to $25,000 a month. 30% of Amazon sellers report sales above $5,000 a month. And 31% of sellers make under $500 a month. This is so crazy because it means there is a almost 50% chance of you making $1,000 a month if you start selling on Amazon. Now, I'm not saying that you will, but there is a chance, which indicates that if you put in the work and you know what you're doing, there's a quite high possibility that you can generate $1,000 a month in sales. But we all know revenue doesn't mean anything, because you could make $1 million in revenue But if your costs are more than that, then you're losing money. So now let's look at some profit stats. 57% of Amazon sellers achieve profit margins greater than 10%. Now this is a margin that I don't even drop to. My minimum margins that I go for is at least 20% gross margin and 15% net margin, meaning I will not sell a product which, unless it sells really well, then I'll go down to like 17%. But 20% is the number I'm looking for, because after all the costs related to that product, that usually drops to around 17 or 16%. And overall, I want to net at least 15% margin for that product. Next, 28% of Amazon sellers earn at least a 20% profit margin. So I'm part of that 28% of Amazon sellers. And the last one is that 30% of Amazon sellers have seen lifetime profits of over $50,000. So 30% of Amazon sellers, which has been surveyed by this particular site, has told that in their lifetime of selling with Amazon, they have generated over £50,000 pure profit. Now this stat itself is crazy because $50,000 is not a lot. And you starting a normal business, like a brick and mortar business, the chance of that business failing, first of all, is really high. Whereas in here, you don't need to have an actual store, which is the reason why I started selling on Amazon in the first place. You don't have to deal with customers when you're doing FBA. You just send your stock off to Amazon, and Amazon deals with all the customers and refunds and all the queries. You just have to sell on Amazon. You just have to focus on finding profitable products and sell them on Amazon. Now, all the things that I've just mentioned is encouraging and can make you think, oh, should I start selling on Amazon? Well, before you do that, here's some drawbacks of selling on Amazon. The first one is one of the most annoying things which I've experienced multiple times, and that is Amazon can suspend your account or your listings anytime they want. If they just simply, for some reason, get an issue on that listing, or they think a customer has an issue with that listing without them even having proper proof, they'll just go ahead and block your listing. Which means if your product is selling like 1,000 times a day, or not $1,000 a day, you could go to zero the next day if they just suspend your listing. And that is not really fun when you're relying on a business to feed yourself or to make money. And so that's one of the most painful thing about Amazon. Now that brings me to the second point, or second drawback about Amazon, is that there's slow customer service. I was gonna call it customer service, but I think they do get the job done, but you just have to constantly reopen the case again and again and again for like 3-4 times, or even sometimes 10 times before they fix the issue which you opened the case for in the first place. And because Amazon uses a lot of robots and AI to kind of filter out all the support queries and support tickets, sometimes when you're submitting the thing that they have asked you to submit and it's going through an AI/robotic system, it doesn't even recognize it, so you keep getting the same response and it's annoying sometimes. The next drawback is the FBA fees. Now, since I started selling on Amazon until now, I think Amazon has increased their FBA fees for 4 times. Now, as I mentioned at the start of this video, if you sell via Amazon FBA, you have to pay Amazon FBA fees, and there is also another type of fee, which is referral fees. There are also majority other fees like storage fees and quite other fees, but the main ones that you will be paying is FBA fees and referral fees, which can take up to 30 to 40% of your overall sale price. So if you sell something for £10, you will pay around £3 to £4 to Amazon in fees. And then you will have your cost of goods, and then you will have other type of costs if you do have any, and then from that you'll be able to take profit. So you can see it's definitely not a small amount. And since I started selling on Amazon since 2020, Amazon has increased their fees like 5 or 6 times, which is definitely not in your favor, and it doesn't even help you, because if you're doing wholesale, like when you resell products, branded products, you buy from a wholesaler/distributor or the brand directly and you resell on Amazon, you're already competing with other sellers in price, and Amazon increasing the fees does not help, because sometimes, like, there used to be a point where they increased the fees by so much that majority of my products went almost no profit. Like my margins went from almost 20% to like 10 and 5%, which is definitely not the most helpful thing to have. But that's Amazon FBA fees for you, and that's something you have to pay, and there is no way around it. And the last main drawback of Amazon is their customer-centric policy, meaning they will put the customer over anything, even you as a seller. They don't care about you as a seller. If a customer tells Amazon, hey, look, this product has a damage and I don't want it, or I need a refund, they will proceed with the refund without any questions asked. If the customer has received the product and they just tell Amazon, I haven't received it, Amazon will refund that as well. They put the customer over anything. So that sometimes means that your products, even if they're in fine quality, if someone just says to Amazon, hey, look, the product hasn't come, Amazon will just refund that. and that refund gets taken out from your own money, like the money that you make on Amazon, it gets taken out from there. Amazon does not pay that refund from their money. There are quite a few more drawbacks, but these are the main ones that since I started selling on Amazon, I think you should know if you're planning to start selling on Amazon. Another main thing that you might be worried about is how much money can it take to start on Amazon? Has it increased over the years? I don't think the amount of money that you have to spend or invest into starting an Amazon business has increased. It's always been the same. If you start with arbitrage, meaning you buy products from a retail store and you resell them on Amazon or you flip them on Amazon, you need like what, 250 or 300 pounds. If you start something like wholesale Amazon, you need anywhere from 1,000 to 3,000 pounds or dollars to get started. Basically, wholesale Amazon is where you buy branded products from either the brand directly. Like let's say I would buy this Rode, I don't know what it's called, Air freaking whatever it's called. You buy that and then resell it on Amazon for a profit. And the last one is private label, which is where you get your own product. Like let's say I want to sell this thing. I would put my logo on it and I would create a listing on Amazon and then I would sell that product, which can cost anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 just to get started. Another factor you should consider is time, because most of you might be working a job right now. So is Amazon FBA too time consuming or is it not? At the start, I believe the more time you're going to spend, the faster results you will get. However, you can start with something like 1 hour a day, meaning around 10 to 15 hours a week is all you need to get started. And then eventually you can cut that down by 1 hour a week or 2 hours a week as well. And I don't mean to say this in a way where you're like, holy crap, is this that good? Yes, it's great, but it takes a lot of effort and time and freaking energy to get to that point. Like right now, I have a team of 2 that manages the entire Amazon business. I don't have to worry about anything. Like I don't even have to, if I want to take a month off, I can, because the person who preps the products, the person who orders and manages the day-to-day stuff manages that. So I got to this point after like 2 years of grinding. Whereas if you're just getting started, at the start, as I said, the less time you're going to put, the slower you're going to grow. And the more time you will put, the faster you'll get to this point. So again, you can start with as little as 1 hour a week, or 1 hour a day, or you can go as much as 3-4 hours a day, depending on you and your circumstances. Now let me answer the big fat question from my own opinion, which is Amazon FBA worth it in 2024? Now overall, yes, Amazon has become a lot more competitive than it was when I got started, or even before I got started. But competition is good. If there is competition in a business, then you know that there is a market for it. People are buying products there. That's why people are jumping on to sell products on that platform. And nearly 600,000 new sellers signed up to sell on Amazon this year. Now, yes, that's a huge number, but you have to remember, Amazon's market share is growing day after day. There's a crazy stat that 90 or nearly 90% of buyers in the US start their shopping on Amazon when they shop online. So while there are more sellers jumping on board, it's not that sellers are going to steal sales from you. Instead, it's just going to create a bigger marketplace for more people to buy products from. Now, if you're looking to get started with Amazon wholesale, then go check out this video right here.